Thank you. Good evening, everyone. As a swearing in, this should be a night that is full of lots of positive emotions of gratitude, excitement, and new beginnings. Today, in the world that we live in, it is also full of caution, responsibility, adaptation, and frankly, in the last 24 hours, emotional whiplash. I won re-election less than a month ago, but in some ways, December 15th, or even frankly, January 5th, feels like a year ago, given all that is going on. And as I reflected on what I wanted to say tonight, I kept returning to the irony of swearing an oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States on the very same day that the failure of other elected officials to do so has been so obvious and on display for the world to see. Today, more than any other day I can remember, and we've had quite an eventful time since I've been in office, each of us has been forced to bear witness to the mockery of our democracy, to bear witness to the double standards exemplified by the starkly different response to today's terrorist actions by protesters compared to this summer's calls for racial justice. We are processing these events in DC, still unfolding as I speak, while observing an outpouring of democratic commitment and participation from a multiracial coalition of African Americans, Jews, Hispanics, whites, Asians in Georgia. As elected leaders, as a community, as a country, I hope we find strength to work together to this crossroads in the days, months, and years to come. Here in Austin tonight, as my colleague just mentioned, we gather to mark a peaceful transition of power in our own city. We remember that those of us being sworn in are assuming or reaffirming our commitment to lead responsibly and lead by example. Let today's events remind us every day of the oath that we have taken to our city and our country. Nothing is normal or usual about this day, but I do want to extend a heartfelt welcome to our new colleagues, Vanessa Fuentes and Mackenzie Kelly, and to congratulate my colleagues, Greg and Leslie. I really look forward to working with you and the rest of the dais to improve Austin. For me, it is an honor and a privilege to continue to serve Austin and District 10. I am so grateful to the voters, volunteers, donors, friends, and family who believed in my leadership and joined in support of my re-election campaign. Thank you to the many neighborhood leaders, precinct chairs, unions, environmentalists, elected officials, organizations, and everyday Austinites of all stripes who stood with me in support of proven leadership, experience, and integrity in these challenging times. Your commitment to democracy and good government inspire me and show us that Austin's best days are ahead of us. I wanted to say a couple specific thank yous because one doesn't get to a day like this alone. I'd like to thank my campaign team at Y Strategy, especially Michael Tomlinson. And thank you to my amazing District 10 team at City Hall, Kurt, April, Mina, and Melissa. And thank you to my family, my mother, Natalie, Jeremy, and Zachary. And thank you to District 10 for trusting me to represent you. I am proud of my record to make Austin a place where all can thrive and feel safe. And I look forward to building on my work in my second term, whether it's championing the environment, reimagining public safety, preventing wildfires, improving our medical response, ensuring public health and economic recovery during and beyond the pandemic, or managing growth responsibly. We live in a complicated world, and it is an understatement that we face many crises at once. Together as a council and as a city, we must find ways to use these crises as catalysts to solve longstanding challenges in our city. It is my hope that we can prove to be curious, deliberate, collaborative,
Oh no. Let's give Alison just a moment, see if she'll come back on. I've just texted her. Let's give her a second. You're back. You're muted though.
All right, so 2020 might not be that different than 2021 might not be that different from 2020. That one I will own. My computer didn't like being on off of the other space. So we're just going to roll with it as we have. But we're going to learn from our mistakes is one of the things that I wanted to say next. And it's really my hope that as a council and as a city, we can be curious, deliberative, collaborative, inclusive, effective, and empathetic. We will need to be innovative, learn from our mistakes, find common ground as we focus on the problems and the opportunities before us. We've had to learn to be really resourceful and adapt over the last year, and I hope that we take those lessons and they allow us to innovate and solve what is before us. I believe the best days for Austin are in front of us. And as we finish here, I'm really pleased that our federal legislators are returning to the Capitol to continue their work to certify our next president as outlined in the Constitution tonight. We must all work together in the spirit of honesty, integrity, and commitment to what Abraham Lincoln called, at the end of a dark period in our history, the better angels of our nature. Thank you, and appreciate your forbearance with all the technology.
I want to congratulate my